It's been pretty impressive so far. 40 hitouts against the Dockers in round 3. He's head-to-head with Mumford here this afternoon.
And at the other end of the ground, Taranto starts out of the square.
First clearance. Looked like it was going to be the Giants, but a little fumble in there from Mumford as the ball went back to the ruckman.
It's out.
And the umpire says and hopes it was coming out, but it's back in there for a secondary stoppage.
Heath Shaw on the live wire, Parker for the Saints.
Mumford over the top, giving away the free kick. Going the way of Marshall. Umpire a little uncertain of which way the teams were going.
I think the coin toss got him as well.
So Marshall goes long. Nunes in a wrestle with Tomlinson. Ball hits the deck off the hands of Bruce. Ross getting a kick into the middle, and it's taken by Kennedy, who can go to Tomlinson.
It looks like it's De Boer that's going to be running with Ross.
Williams, one of the best last week against the Swans. Taranto was being held onto by Webster.
Doesn't look like a hard tag at the present time. Just running reasonably wide of each other.
Taranto won the Brett Kirk medal last week. Outstanding, best on ground in the Sydney Derby. Now Himmelberg. Ball comes to ground. Nunes set upon by Hopper.
He had no prior opportunity and he was wrapped up, couldn't get rid of the ball, so up they go again.
Mumford's ruck work and the follow-up stuff from the big man goes to Jeremy Cameron. One out in the goal square, and he's going to win that battle more often than not.
Well, this fellow warmed up for half an hour. We were out there watching just about every kick, and he looked as sharp as you'd like. And he looks as if he's in for a big game. That's one entry inside forward 50 and what should be an easy goal.
He's kicked 20 goals, 12 against St Kilda in 7 previous games. And he's leading the Coleman race with 25 now in 2019.
Well, he's had a fantastic start this season. There's no doubting that. He's just a goal kicker. He knows where they are. He has a great goal sense. He's terrific on the lead. And he's a wonderful conversion rate throughout the season. You can see he got off to a flyer, 4 goals against Essendon in round 1. It just kept rolling from there. 3, 7 against Richmond in what was a bit of a demolition. 3 goals against the Cats in an upset victory down at Geelong. And 4 last fortnight ago against Fremantle. 3 last week against Sydney, where he failed to really cash in. But he said he felt the breeze was blowing behind his back at both ends. That's a man in form.
That's some positivity for you.
Doesn't matter if you mark him in the square.
8 clear in the Coleman race. And he's kicking 4 goals a week on average. He plays 3 finals. Could get to the ton on grand final day, and the Giants are believing they can get there as Ross gets this clearance on the outside for Nunes, who read it better than Tomlinson. Had 3 to beat in the end, goes over the top towards Sinclair, breaks back towards Long. Nunes, quick kick, and the mark taken by Membry.
Wonderful handball from Long there. That's what set this opportunity up. He cleared the area by 10 to 15 metres as he had a teammate in Nunes getting forward. Nunes is the #1 score assist or score involvement player at the Saints. He's become a really critical wingman / half forward for St Kilda this year. Great to see him involved so early.
Tim Membry, one of the Saints' 2 spearheads, along with Josh Bruce. If he misses left from this kind of range historically. Trying to bend it back the other way. He's got it. A quick answer from the Saints.
13 goals for the season now for Tim Membry, and he really has come back as a reinvigorated player this season. Their whole forward structure is working so much better. And the handball which you loved, Kingy, was this one right there. That is just magnificent vision. Good rocket handball, got there quickly and set up this excellent shot at goal.
Quality entry, great finish. Worked the breeze to perfection there, Tim Membry, and that's what they needed. A solid start, the Saints.
Yeah, 13 goals, 5 now this year. Great conversion rate for Membry. Leon Cameron will be keeping an eye out on the Membry matchup. Mumford v Marshall again. Hopper getting after a bit of space that he found. Gives Kennedy one to chase, but Billings favoured by that kick. Over the top to the voice of Sinclair. And we'll get another stoppage.
Really poor handball there from Billings. He could have stepped back in on his strong left leg, and a player of his quality, you want the ball in his hands. You want him to be the kicker.
Interesting to see the way Kennedy plays him. He's been such a damaging player for the Saints.
Ross had to be quick. Back to Billings. Gets it on the boot this time and finds a teammate. Chip over the top. On the lead is Bruce, the hometown boy. Plenty here to cheer him on. And Marsh couldn't get his hands on it that time as Haitley drops in front. Back into the team this week, Jackson Haitley, the 18-year-old, picked 14 in last year's draft. Turned over by Haynes. Good mark taken by McKenzie. Quickly to Webster. They like it in his hands. Sets it up top of the goal square. Staying down is Long, but it's spoiled out for the boundary throw-in.
Talented player is Long. He really is developing into a really impressive young player. Poor turnover there by the Giants. They've got to do better than that. Good pressure by the Saints, just getting another entry.
So Bruce in the ruck this time. Giants have some numbers. Kennedy quickly on the left boot. And just landed inside the boundary line.
This is where the Saints have been strong all year, scoring from forward half stoppages, third best in the competition. So this sort of range is where you're looking for a Gresham or a Billings to explode and get on the end. Gresham's not out there at the moment, he's on the bench, but Billings is your man.
Marshall got there late, had his arms draped over Mumford. Hopper's kick down to ground level via McKenzie. Nunes with vision over the top.
Good hand.
Swept clear by Steele. Now another inside 50 for St Kilda. Marsh gets his hands to it, couldn't complete the mark.
Well, we saw Steele once again getting it to a bloke on the outside, and that's where they've got the balance. We see a couple of clubs at the moment totally unbalanced, going for the same football. Too many guys on the inner circle. Well, the Saints have got that right just at the moment.
4 wins apiece between these clubs since GWS came into the comp, and that draw last year in round 5 when they couldn't be split at Marvel. Over the top came Mumford, trying to win it down for Haitley, who went into the back of Nunes. Advantage is paid to Parker. Does the spectacular, but he does the discipline thing this time. Gave his teammate a chance in the goal square. Reid had to be careful on Sinclair. And the kick out of there is a high one. Cameron.
Oh, did well.
Dropped the chest mark ultimately, and it's back to Webster. Little fumble from Jimmy. Hopper was clean, turned it over to Nunes. Then Haitley got a smother in, a little dazed, might have hit him in the melon. And Finlayson trying to win it. Taranto just hacks it clear, and it finds Toby Green. Haitley on the outside. Himmelberg to go to down the wing. Worked it well against Battle. And over the top to Finlayson. Trying to gather. Back to Cornelio, the captain of the Giants for the 2nd week in a row. Oh, awkward bounce out the back. It's all the way through. No one touched it. And it's another goal for the Giants. For Stephen Cornelio from 55. He didn't expect that.
No, that was an amazing goal. Just rolled end over end. Nobody got a hand on it. And there's Jeremy Cameron, who's just picked himself up after being dealt with at the other end of the ground. Bump off the ball, taken high. And he was dazed for a fair period of time. Let's just have a look at how this one unfolds. Finlayson's been good this season. He really has been involved. And
Clean bowled here, Jared.
yeah, straight through the legs.
Got to get a hand on that.
Got to get the bat closer to the pad.
Well, he was a handy cricketer. And they play a bit of test cricket at this venue now. Cameron's okay after Long got him high.
So you see he's got an unusual glove with 2 fingers taped together. The one that's broken or dislocated will probably have a ring block in it. The other one uses it as a sling.
Now Akers, left foot kick under Haitley. Kent leading the race ahead of Williams. Paddled it to the advantage of Gresham. Now Hunter Clark back into the team today. Finds Steele, didn't travel the required journey. Gets it on the boot in a hurry. Finds Sinclair. Wants to keep them rolling. Used the outside men as a decoy in the end. And it's tidied up by Shaw. Kent keeps the pressure on and keeps it locked in.
They've done this really well so far. St Kilda locking the ball in their forward half. They've had 7 of the 9, 10 inside 50s so far. They've let the Giants through a couple of times. They've got great returns from it, the Giants. They've just got to make sure they keep the pressure on here, the Saints.
So Bruce with the ruck work again inside 50. Haitley couldn't gather. And another stoppage coming up as Taylor put the vice on.
Gresham's the one just wandering up to the back of the stoppage here. He's the first received, 10 metres, all by himself.
Williams couldn't get boot to ball. Soccer skills again from Taranto. We saw a lot of that last week, and the kick finds Daniels.
Good young player, Daniels. He's not getting a lot of coverage, but very effective.
And they got Zach Langdon waiting in the wings. He's done some good stuff in the NEFL last couple of weeks, so a Daniels or a Lloyd could find themselves under pressure. They'd love to get Zach Langdon back in as soon as possible, you'd imagine, the Giants, as we check in with Nerily on the boundary line.
Jeremy Cameron tried to stay out there with that left shoulder injury, but he's come off, seen the physio and the doctor. They don't seem too concerned, but he is in a bit of pain with that left shoulder.
Here's Sam Taylor. Last game as a teenager for him today. Turns 20 tomorrow. Good work by Akers, able to keep it away from Kennedy.
Well, the Giants are off to a good start on the scoreboard, but it's St Kilda's, I guess, energy and willingness to lock down and lock that ball in their forward half has been pretty impressive early in the early going.
So Tomlinson deputising for Mumford. It breaks the way of Akers once more. Good penetrating kick down towards Marsh.
Well, he's had a nearly game at the moment. He's had half a dozen near misses, and that'll all turn around. All his coach will want him to do is attack the ball.
And that's St Kilda first 4 weeks to the last couple of weeks. You can see they're trying to get the ball in a controlled fashion, take more marks, take the speed out of the game, less stoppages, because they're not a great clearance team. Very good in the forward half of the ground where they can pinch a couple of goals, but across the board, not a great stoppage team at the minute.
Here's another stoppage for them to have a crack at. And De Boer flicks it on the outside. Once again, it's Akers who tumbles one inside 50. And the free kick given away by Kent.
Just breaking even at the moment. It's 6 apiece in the clearances, so they'd be reasonably happy with that. It hasn't hurt them on the scoreboard.
Be disappointed with how their forward line's functioning at the moment. 8 inside 50s for just the one goal, caught behind their key post forwards in memory.
Zach Williams with dash, risky kick, but sticking it is Daniels. Fabulous mark in amongst 3 Saints. Out in front of Toby Green, over the top to Lloyd. He's got support as well. The Giants keep it in. Himmelberg across the face, and he found a teammate in space. It's Tomlinson.
Clever kick. It would have been nicer if it had been just a little bit more further away from the goal to open up the angle. That's great running by Adam Tomlinson, but Daniels once again, he just shows that he's just not your average unit. He's got lots of tricks and he works particularly hard.
Yet to kick a goal in 2019, Adam Tomlinson, 31 in his career for the utility man for the Giants, trying to squeeze it in. He's got it. First of the season for Adam Tomlinson.
I thought the work here of Toby Green was absolutely fantastic. You can just see left of screen there, they managed to split. 3v2 they were, and they forced the Saint defender to come up and make a decision on Green. Green just forces this forward, nothing pretty, just to maintain that +1, that advantage. And it just, once he got the ball back into motion and free, they were always going to score. It was just a matter of whether it was going to be a goal or not. Great finish in the end, but quality play up the field from Green.
We saw that a lot last week. They backed their talent to keep the ball in at all costs, whereas some teams like to get it across for the stoppage.
It's become a little bit unhealthy in the past, their reliance on the Tsunami, wanting to score from their defensive half, but it's just another asset at the moment. Their forward half game is strong, but they're always potent.
Tomlinson in the ruck after kicking the latest goal. The Giants with 3 of the first 4. Williams again gets his hands on it and finds Lloyd.
Well, you can just see if they're allowed to run and allowed to carry the ball, they've got magnificent skills. They're looking really sharp as a team, the Giants.
Lloyd goes high. Himmelberg looking to create a contest over the top. Finlayson with a leap.
Well, this is one of the stories of the year for mine, Kingy. This bloke was available to any club who put a decent offer up at the end of last season. He was a defender, but he's gone forward, creative coaching, and he is making a statement over the last month in this position.
Around the corner kicking. they haven't missed one in the pre-match. Let's see how he goes.
They'll be learning from Jeremy Cameron how to execute this. He has 12 goals, 5 this season. Jeremy Finlayson loving life up forward.
I mean, it's just an amazing story. This bloke was available for just an average draft pick. If you want to just throw something on the table, they had serious salary cap issues, and a bloke that can go forward and do that, I mean, you could be paying a couple of first-round draft picks for, but he was available. He was on eBay. Who is that gettable? And yet he has gone forward, and he is one of the dominant players of the season.
Oh, I think he was on eBay as a backman.
He was.
So they've thrown him forward as a bit of a mismatch, and it's under some gold. Biggest problem for the Saints defence right now. That's 5 inside 50s for the Giants for a return of 4 goals. When their kicking is pure at the minute, they're kicking 83%. That's a number that's unheard of, 20% above average.
Up they go again in the middle, and a free kick has been picked out. It's going the way of Marshall again. Another inside 50 for St Kilda, and Parker got a bit of separation, but Shaw came late and closed that space.
Interesting defensive tactic. Took the body, feigned the punch, got away with it.
Been good, the back six of the Giants so far.
Closing in on 300 games. Heath Shaw, the 2-time All-Australian, as a Giant. And Mumford trying to work against Marshall again, who took front spot. Seen a lot of this already, the secondary stoppages. Hately trying to prize himself free. Born in Canberra, then moved to Adelaide as a young man.
There's a couple now against Mummy. Getting frustrated.
He's earned 3 free kicks in total so far. Rowan Marshall, who goes to the pocket again. And the Giants had plenty to kill it, including Buntine, who came into the lineup when Davis was ruled out again for the 2nd week in a row, Phil Davis, with that ankle problem.
I say I like watching a frustrated Mummy.
Look out.
That time he got front spot, brought it down for Williams to get yet another kick away. Toby Green took a fly. And now St Kilda go again. Kent on the lead. Plays on quickly, kicks from 55, gives it a fair ride, but doesn't have the accuracy.
Can't quite find an easy opportunity in front of goal, the Saints. These repeat inside 50s, you go back into a really dense forward line and a very organised defence. Credit to the Giants for that, but you just need a forward to command a bit more responsibility.
Heath Shaw wasn't to be rushed, just waited for the setup to be in position, and then he went. And Tomlinson had it spoilt from behind by Wilkie. Mature age recruit for the Saints. Goes deep again, off hands. And the Giants get it clear towards Haynes.
It's 12 inside 50s for just the 1 goal. They had plenty of opportunities.
Haynes pulled the kick a little. Mumford got there to create a contest. Now the Saints go to work at ground level, including Ross and Nunes. Deflection on the kick found Himmelberg. Couldn't link up with Tomlinson, but he can keep it in as well. And got the kick away just in time. Cameron full-chested. Webster so brave. Hit the deck. He's worried about a wrist problem at the moment is Jimmy. He's playing on as Daniels goes long. Saw a teammate breaking inside forward 50, and he found Kennedy. Green over the top. The Giants are going to kick another one. 5 of the first 6 for the GWS.
Well, that offside runner is becoming a real problem for St Kilda. That's 3 or 4 times now they've been involved in scoring opportunities. And Jeremy Cameron, he just keeps charging at the ball, looks really aggressive.
Oh, that was fantastic from both players, Cameron and Webbs, to put his body on the line. But just have a look at how efficient the Giants are. In full motion, at full speed, the offside runner charging down towards the goal square. It's impossible to stop, especially when you're moving the ball at 84% by foot. This is an awesome display.
Coming in here, guys.
Haven't seen too many teams rack up a score like this quickly so far in 2019, but they are on at a place where they had their pants pulled down a fortnight ago by the Dockers. They're on today.
Well, Kennedy's a bit of a handful at the present time. He's got a good quality opponent, Billings, but we just saw his hard running. The offside created the opportunity to set up the goal.
Cornelio's first kick was interesting, almost Gaelic football style, as Green goes back with the flight. McKenzie at ground level, Ross back to Savage, and Nunes. Oh, Akers, they didn't communicate too well, the Saints pair, but they get it second time around, and now Akers can chip inside towards Parker, and Mumford all over him. Nearly an argument for 50.
He makes the clumsy look Ruckman-like. It's a skill. He did exactly what he wanted to do. He stopped the momentum of the Saints.
Parker eventually able to kick. There was a bit of a push out going on there from Marsh. He might have gotten away with one.
This is the problem here.
Good looking kick, gives it a real ride towards the top of the square. Williams going to get another kick around the corner to a choice of teammates. He's had 7 kicks already, Zach Williams, to lead all comers, 8 disposals in total. Mumford goes to Cameron.
And Akers has got to be better than that. Cameron was always going to be an option to move the ball, and yet he gave him a 5-metre break.
Back to Williams for another touch.
Major part of the game now is ground ball get. So once that initial spoil comes, and the old-fashioned crumb, if you like, and they've been out-crumbed 5-0 by the GWS defenders.
Their kicking exhibition is superb at the moment.
Here's another one looking for Lloyd to rise. Patton brought it to ground level. Picked it up again and found Dara Joyce, the Irishman, back in today. And a nice kick to centre wing for Billings. Back inboard to Ross, who wants to keep it rolling. Has Marsh inboard. He's going to ignore him, Seb Ross, and look for Long or Parker. And he can go back and have a shot. And he's been a good converter this year.
Once again, we see that ball being transitioned from one side of the ground to the other. And the offside runner, this time it was Matt Parker, just getting himself in a really good position. Billings that time got involved, and Nunes also. In fact, Ross.
It's the regulation chess mark for the bloke who took a couple of hangers last week against the Crows and kicked 3 straight. He's got his first of the afternoon here, and 8 goals too so far this season for Matty Parker.
Things happen when Jack Billings gets the ball. It's as simple as that. It's just the sheer quality of this guy. That little chip inside, it opens up the other half of the ground, the fat side of the ground where the space is, where those offside runners are working into. Really good body work from Long there, just to take Williams out of play and allow Parker to take an easy chest mark. Good team play in the forward line. They need to see more of that. They're working hard, the Saints. The forward line just not quite functioning at the minute.
And conversion was a problem for St Kilda in recent times, and when they took on the Giants last time, they had 3 goals 10 at half-time, 8 goals 13 at full-time, lost by 25 points. Good rise by Marshall. Marsh was the target on the outside. Haynes coming the other way, was tackled without it by Ross, and he'll get the free kick. Goes wide to Kennedy, getting a little bit of it. Quickly plays on to De Boer. The handball just made him wait a while, so Membry set upon him. Kennedy goes back to Williams, who's into double figures now.
Geez, their kicking game is superb at the moment. They're running at 85%.
Kennedy's kick now, top of the square. Finlayson the target, off hands. He gets it again, Finlayson. He's got 2. What about the high-scoring game going on in the nation's capital?
Once again, ball transition by foot, and it's just hitting targets now. It's not a low-pressure game, but it's a game where the Giants are able just to find some space and hit that target really well. They nearly mucked it up with a handball, but
the separation there, though, Jared. I mean, that's what defenders hate. Absolute isolation, one-on-one. Then the contest arises. They're so proactive, the forward line for the Giants.
Stephen Cornelio has decided to go without the protective glove on that right hand. He's definitely bothered by it, boys, but got some extra strapping a few minutes ago and seems to be carrying on. He's a tough one, we know that.
And Steele is going to him as well. Speaking of tough, Mumford. Steele tried to claim it. Taranto goes to Haitley. And that kick is going to be coming back the other way via Patton.
And that's the one the coaches will want him to just take a little bit more time. Don't just blast away. He wasn't under that much pressure.
Centre bounce is becoming a problem for the Saints. 6-2 in favour of the Giants. They haven't really cashed in, just the one goal at this stage, but they look so powerful out of the Giants. A quality ball.
No ruckman decisive. Clever little tap by Ross to find Nunes, who tumbled it towards Gresham. Sam Reid clamping down on him as he does so often. He gets the free kick here.
If you go to ground, you have got to get it out. Haynes is just backing off as an extra defender with these stoppages forward to the centre, but it also means that they've got that extra player down there so they can set up the world-famous Chinese checker move, and that's exactly what they're doing now.
And the elite kicking continues.
Well, at the moment, they are treating him like Witz's hats when they move the ball. I mean, I don't think I can recall a team kicking it at 85% for almost a full first quarter.
Avoid the target here. Breaks even against a couple of Saints. Can they keep it in? They can. And another inside 50, the result. And Cornelio just ghosted forward and got off the chain of steel. Already a goal kicker from 55 or 60 metres away, surprisingly opening earlier in the term. Kicked 4 last week, had 24 touches, couldn't get the BOG going, as Taranto had a field day with 30 and 10 tackles. He kicked one from a similar angle to this last week. The captain today, Stephen Cornelio. Oh, poster. First minor score for the home team.
Yeah, it's getting to the dangerous levels right now. The Saints need to find a way to just get that score back to some sort of parity.
Battle squeezes the kick to Nunes. Hately tried to pull out of it. The umpire gave him the benefit of the doubt there as he was late on Nunes. Goes towards Bruce.
Yeah, 3 on 1 again. There's got so many tools there, dominating the aerial display. Thought it lacked a little bit of creativity, that last kick. They had it the setup to go round the back, and yet they took the conservative measure.
Taylor back from whence it came, and this time it's Wilkie.
Well, that's the first time the Saints have forced them down the line, forced them down that boundary line. Stock standard kick, intercept mark prevails. Can't let them kick at 85%. It's the 3rd highest kicking efficiency we've had in any given quarter of football this year. Wow. Been almost pure.
So Steele this time. Kick seems to be favouring the Giant again. It would have been out of bounds on the full or a mark. Sam Taylor will take the kick. Just goes about his business, the quiet kid. 19 years of age. And it's a bit of kick to kick in front of the members here as Himmelberg. Great hands again, but the kick lets him down.
Yeah, those hands came from Daniels. We've spoken about him a couple of times already, but it's hard to teach that sort of skill.
An important couple of minutes before quarter time. Saints don't want it to blow out any more, and they'd love to get one back. 4 goals the margin right now. Taylor again with his eyes on it, and again he sticks it. They don't like the work of Long afterwards, the Giants fans.
Gresham just 2 possessions, Kingy. It's if they're going to get back into this, their best players have to get into it.
Himmelberg will get the free kick. He wasn't sure he was getting it. He was running inside forward 50. The umpire had to call him back. Another Canberra boy out there. Played in the NEFL down here before being drafted by the Giants. Off hands, Daniels, quick hands to Taranto. And the banana is near side.
See, this forward 50 looks so dangerous. Every time the ball goes in, they're finding space. They're working for each other. They're keeping St Kilda isolated in one-on-ones. And that's a real challenge for Alan Richardson and his coaching crew to address at quarter time.
So Parker the target here, but it was over kick for him. Quick hands to Steele. Battle had to search for it. Goes to McKenzie, and Himmelberg shut him down.
Well, they've been really impressive so far, the Giants. It's just a minute and a bit to go. They would go in at quarter time knowing that they've got a big scalp if they want one. If they can continue this sort of form, they're making a statement.
Gresham couldn't get an effective disposal. Reed took it off his boot and kicks it as well. What an opening term from the Giants.
Well, we saw Collingwood do it last night, a massive first quarter, 7-goal turn. That is a huge score, 44 points in a quarter of football. They're not finished yet either with this new centre bounce set up, but that's just will. That's just want and desire to get his hands on the ball. Great smother, great follow-up. Of course, it's a quality finish, but that's off the back of defensive actions. The role players of the Giants are away.
Well, he's got to Gresham a couple of times. He got the free kick down back a moment ago. That time he took it off his boot and nailed it, the veteran. Still a minute to go. Bounce went outside of the circle. I'll have another go.
Reset, 50 guys.
Everyone has to reset back into the 6-6-6 formation. Umpire just checking on everyone. And away we go again. Mumford over the top to Bohr. Cornelio stepped inside. Hunter Clark back to Mumford. Another deep entry. Cameron backs back. And they're going to bring up 50.
This is a good old-fashioned destroyation at the moment here in Canberra. They look sharp, they look hungry before the match. Often it tells a false tale, but gee, right now they are delivering big time.
15 seconds gone.
His worst outing this year is 3 majors for Jeremy Cameron. It's going to be tough to run down in the Coleman medal race. The mood he's in right now. Already got one early, first goal of the game. And now to back it up with the final goal in the opening term, we think the Giants bring up the half-ton.
And they want more. They're in that mood. You can just sense in the pre-match they were up, they were ready to go. They weren't missing a beat in terms of their field kicking, their set shot goal kicking. Everything was to routine. Look at this, back with the flight. He's such a courageous player, Jeremy Cameron. Eyes only for the football. Terrific centre bounce work from the midfield crew. Finlayson just does the right thing and protects his back. What an asset this guy is at full forward.
And Finlayson probably entitled to maybe try and take the mark himself, but he saw Cameron backing back and did the team thing.
Can they get one more in 15 seconds of football?
Has been done.
They are missing a couple as well. A couple of average players called Kelly and Whitfield.
Phil Davis down back, Callum Ward for the season.
Scary performances.
So the Giants won't be getting one, and the clock is expiring here. Billings, and there won't be time for another entry. Well, what a performance from the home team. A little bit of niggle afterwards as well between Billings and Cornelio. But the Giants have turned it on and lead by 37 points at the first change in Canberra.
6 weeks of the season, and yet all of a sudden it can just evaporate if you put in a shocker as they've done in this opening term. They need to address this scoreboard by halftime.
So away we go in the second quarter. Marshall came right over the top of Mumford, and Ross got it clear. Kennedy was first to it though. Drops it on the left boot and found Finlayson, who swivels and looks for Green. Could have fallen in the lap of Cornelio as well. They had 2 options there. Well, Green pulls the kick a little too much. That was a bit extravagant when he had Cameron leading up in the corridor.
Yeah, they've just got to sort out ownership of the ball and ownership of a man. They've been okay in the contested department, not far behind the Giants, but when they've lost possession of the ball, they're giving their opponents way too much latitude. The Giants are making the ground big and they're hitting targets.
Hopper got a little boot to it. Green this time pulls it to the corridor where Webster was waiting.
I think this has been the problem. They've taken 14 marks St Kilda. They just can't control the game for any length of time.
Membry just dropped it out in front of himself to his own advantage. Now down the line where Long waits. Got a little, rather Bruce gets a shove in on Core. Good use of the body by Josh Bruce, who has Marsh and Gresham making the leads about 50 metres away. Takes some weight off it for Gresham in the pocket, and he's holding on to Haynes again.
I wonder if it's worth a look at swapping Marsh and Battle at this early stage. It just doesn't look likely, Marsh, at the minute, deep forward.
Haynes back the other way, and it sailed over the top of a couple. Steele tracked it down. Pressure on his kick as he got boots a ball. Now Hopper steps around one. Long down the line, 2-on-1 situation here. Off hands to battle out the back, who was a forward at one stage, playing down back almost exclusively this year.
Well, this is a serious player, Haynes. He knows how to intercept it. Saw him in round 2 against Jeremy McGovern do a really good job on him in that second half, and they were getting absolutely flogged. Himmelberg really didn't quite have the understanding as to how to do it. He went forward and just showed what a complete player he can be.
A free kick picked out for Callum Wilkie. Best and fairest with North Adelaide last year as they won the Sandford Premiership. And picked up in the rookie draft by St Kilda. Daniels again can go inboard. Finlayson is all alone with a couple of goals to his name. Goes long. Cameron's one out again. Jezza takes it on the chest.
Well, when you've got a weapon like the Finlayson kick, you just know that you've got complete control, and all they're doing is isolating Cameron forward when he has got it a couple of times now. They work well together when they're in close proximity, and they're working well together when they're distance apart. But again, it was Daniel, and again, it was Kennedy. They are really having a major impact through the middle of the ground.
Pretty ominous for St Kilda. That little graphic, never missed from this range. And we didn't even get him with the graphic. He slots it home for 21 straight from that kind of position.
Shoulder's fine, coach. The shoulder is fine, and they may have to look at a change here. It is a big ask to guard this man at deep fullback, isolated. Look at him here. He's just got time. He just wants the ball in his area. You could just see it was just a matter of time before he was going to put Joyce to the sword there. It may have to be battle. They may have to lock a battle on or give Marsh an opportunity. This matchup's not working.
I think as much as that, the personnel issue, it's a pressure issue around the ground at the present time. The Saints have just got to find another gear, or Jeremy is going to really put some distance between him and the rest of the field in the Coleman middle.
And Mumford brought it down. Little slip from Hunter Clark, who gets after it again and will affect the clearance. Former pick 7 in the draft a few years back now, but Williams is going to get his 11th disposal of the afternoon. Poor kick though, easily picked off by Membry, and they're screaming for it. Inside 50, a couple of teammates after the turnover, but he's holding things up.
He can kick this. If he settles, he could make the distance. Players were easily doing this in the pre-game.
Instead, he tries to set it up. Bruce backtracks. Marsh came late to bring it to ground. Shaw goes to Haynes. And he's found Taranto in plenty of space. Long down the line, and Toby Green reading it. Cornelio the target here. Bit of space. Wilkie getting there late. Great play, Callum Wilkie. Able to tidy up at ground level as well and find his teammate Lace out. There's a little team lifter for St Kilda, the work of their mature age recruit.
This is the kick that's let them down. They kicked it straight back to the Giants 3 times. Make that 4 times.
And Williams is picking them off on plenty of those occasions. Now Shaw just buying some time. Step back a little to make sure that travelled the required distance for Haitley, who goes back inboard to De Boer.
We've really only seen, from my memory, Kingy, one bad kick from the Giants. It was Zach Williams 2 kicks ago. It's the first time we've seen an absolute shocker that was a turnover. This is just, as you said, kicking it around the witches' hats at the present time. I mean, they're not even guarding the mark with enough energy to make him kick high or kick with less of
Toby Green plucked it over the top of McKenzie and then sells him down the river and finds his teammate Daniels.
They're in the mood to embarrass today. They're going to try and embarrass the Saints. I mean, no one can do it like the Giants. With Cameron up and rolling, their midfield as tough as you like, and Green just getting a taste.
Not many play with more swagger than Toby Green, do they?
It's a small swagger, but it's a big impact on this group, I can tell you.
So Daniels, his goal kicking hasn't been that effective this year, and he won't even register here. The little man, 3 goals, 5 so far.
Well, he just tried to overkick that one. We've seen him do the short stuff pretty well. Maybe he needs to learn a lesson from that.
St Kilda eventually taking the kick. Savage down the line. Membry affected the spoil over the top of Tor.
Now, I know they don't want to bite off the corridor. That was a little bit of 2018 that got them in trouble with turnovers. But at the moment, they're just kicking down the line, St Kilda, and getting no control. 4 marks for the second term off the back of a low tally in the first quarter. They're going to have to take some risks.
Alan Richardson started this one up in the coach's box. He's decided to make the move down to the boundary to try and have more of an impact on this game.
Here's a chance to have an impact on the scoreboard. Membry out in front of Haynes, tracking him all the time, and there was not a lot to go to back over the shoulder. And the Giants get after it at ground level, have to get it clear. Now the numbers might work out for St Kilda. Big chance. Parker rolls one through. He doesn't waste them too often, does he? Matty Parker, a budding superstar for the Saints.
Great work from Blake Acres. He fought the fight in the pocket there. You can just see Parker was involved as well. Got up and recovered. Really clever handball just to slip him through a gap there. We know he's a quality finisher, but the build-up was superb. Sometimes you just got to find a way. Find a way to score ugly and stay in the game. That's great work there. That's a goal for persistence.
He's got 2 of their 3. Not that long ago, he was playing B-grade amateur footy in Kalgoorlie. Now he's living the AFL dream. Marshall went early. Mumford timed it better. And Cornelio following through. Good mark, Savage. Quickly towards Long, getting a bit of space on centre wing. Didn't see a kick he liked, so bought a little bit of time for himself. Now he goes long. Bruce is going to rise. Couldn't quite complete the mark. Williams was being tackled effectively, had no prior.
Excellent from Long to change the angle, take his time, really compose, build up into the forward 50, and you force the Giants to be diligent one-on-one, and at worst you get a stoppage. Fantastic play.
Hopper scrapping, Parker again, flicked it over the top, looking for Long. It bounced the way of Webster. Giants, Cornelio didn't see that coming, and he's got him. Free kick and a shot at goal coming up.
Did he tackle him?
He didn't, he bumped him. It's an interesting interpretation, this.
He must lay the tackle to be rewarded. Oh, well, gee. Sort of watch your decision.
He had him nailed. He's got the free kick, and Cornelio, he still thinks he got the handball away, but nevertheless, the Saints get an opportunity to drag 6 points back.
Seb Ross, their captain today. Jaron Geary still on the comeback trail. He's never kicked one from this part of the ground, and he just squeezes it home for a minor score. Paul really is travelling today. No trouble making the distance. A lot of these players from around the 50-metre arc. Williams just rolls on out of the goal square. Look at that kick travel as well. Ross gets his hands on it again. Oh, he had to be quicker than that. Got the benefit of the doubt. And the Saints through Webster, looking for Nunes. Judged it well. Long wants it short. Nunes is thinking a lot longer than that. And he's pulled it.
Down on the far side. Is it studs up or not?
It's O'Keefe, the player.
Oh,
he's just copped an unfortunate knee. So his afternoon is finished.
Sickening blow.
So the play stops as we wait for Adam Kennedy to be seen to. Came back from the ACL last year, and he copped the inadvertent knee there from Nunes as he rose.
And Nunes is entitled to defend himself. I mean, that's just an old-fashioned
part of the
mechanism.
Yeah.
They've got that Toby Green rule if you raise the studs into a player, but as as you say, just an inadvertent knee on that occasion.
He's been a damaging player for the Giants all afternoon, off the wing, 10 possessions, running at 90% effective disposal.
The stretcher just coming out here, boys, to help Kennedy off the ground. Certainly a sickening blow, just that knee to the side of the head. Good to see that Kennedy is moving his legs and sitting up at the moment. So that is great news. Obviously always scary getting to his feet as the stretcher comes on to the ground. You would think, though, he'll get a concussion test and unlikely to play out this game. A warm applause from the crowd here in Canberra as well. But great to see Adam Kennedy back to his feet.
Yeah, you saw the physio there just checking the neck, making sure there was no spinal damage, which was one of the reasons he was on the ground for so long. And when that was all clear, he was happy to get up and get on with it.
They are brave. AFL players, they've never been tougher, in my opinion.
The hits are even bigger in the 80s and 90s.
Well, the body's a lot bigger and they run up a fair bit faster in it as a general rule.
They know what's coming and they still go. I mean, it's a mental challenge as much as a physical challenge.
St Kilda took the opportunity to bring everyone together for a little bit of a rev up a moment ago. And now the players are back in position, and great to see Kennedy go off under his own steam. The ball returned to Zach Williams, and away we go again. Coming out to the near side for Cameron. Staying down was Cumming. Oh, great ball handling by Isaac Cumming, the boy from Broken Hill. Cameron across his body. Green, a little nudge, didn't time it. Gave away a free kick to Pat. He's going towards Bruce, who appeared to be open, but the Giants dropped back. Gresham. Little flick over the top. Parker. Only as far as Haitley. Mumford worked the little 1-2 beautifully and expertly with Reed. Plenty of height in that kick. Green trying to bring it down for Taranto. And McKenzie ushered it across. Marshall gets there after nominating for the ruck work against Mumford once more. Boundary umpire gives it plenty. Mumford. He'd be disappointed not to have found Taranto there, who was in space.
So at the stoppage, De Boer's putting a lot of time into Gresham, and Gresham was getting frustrated, but then he goes and tries to put a block on for a teammate, which then allows De Boer to get to a one-on-none situation. They're playing it pretty well here, the Giants.
Mumford again. Well, Marshall just nudged him out of it. Big up and under. Good luck marking that. Bruce didn't give up on it, but Taylor had him covered.
At the moment, the game's either living in contest or in the Giants' hands, where the Saints can't seem to win it back. They can't seem to disrupt their ball movement. They've got to find a way to hit some uncontested marks and control the game for periods of time. Otherwise, the Giants are going to go on their merry way.
Amazing handball from Mumford there that the fans couldn't quite believe. Again, Cumming was pretty clean. Got a little 1-2 with Green, who's trying to coach him through it. Left foot kick. Himmelberg got away with that fumble, but the smother affected.
Yeah, good defensive work there by the Saints, but you spoke about Isaac Cumming before the game, Kingy, and he looks like a hell of a mover.
Beautiful ball user. They want to get him going off a half-back flank or a wing. He's got Zach Williams type damage in his kicking in his leg.
Well, Mumford tried to take it out of the ruck and dropped it, so it fell for Taranto and then Haitley. Again, a clever hand in there by Kent. Kick came from Buntine ultimately. Now Finlayson once more on his right side. How's the kick? It's going to get picked off by Steele, who plays on and goes quickly to a one-on-one. Marsh, little spoil came around the corner from Core. All the way back towards Wilkie. Set upon. It's a hot footy out there on the far side. And you're gone. Slung into the ground. Umpire says that's holding the ball against News. Taranto, the second leading tackler in the comp, just behind Jack Steele in the stats. Made that one stick as Dara Joyce got there ahead of Himmelberg.
Yeah, good work from Joyce, because it was set up for his opponent. He'll be not happy, as you can see, with the treatment he got.
There's that stat. Steele 1, Taranto 2, Cripps 3. Some tough nuts in the middle on that little sheet. Gresham towards Patton. Now Taranto trying to bust through a tough tackle. And it won't be coming out. So midway through the second term, the Giants controlling things, up by 35. Breaking even in this second quarter, pretty much, St Kilda, though, and that's an incorrect disposal.
They are 1 goal to the Saints, to 1 goal to the Giants. But the way this game's playing, if St Kilda don't get some control of the ball here, they'll start to leak heavily on the scoreboard.
Canelio all the way back. Tomlinson did really well to adjust and control possession. Taylor over the top to Ball. Looking for Himmelberg, but the pressure on the kick allowed Webster to take it. No mark paid. Had to be quick to Wilkie. Joyce on the outside, and now St Kilda away. Penetrating kick long down the line. Bouncing out in front of Kent, who's got just a bit of separation on Taylor, who hunted him down. And the Giants do win it back. Now Buntine. Down the line to the advantage of Reid, it appeared. Or rather, Tomlinson. Looking to link with De Boer, but Steele back towards Ross. And St Kilda through Ross, who managed to get a bounce in there, even though he only covered about 8 metres. He leads the comp in total bounces this year as Shaw backtracks. And now Haitley in the sunshine in Canberra. Little handball underground from Haynes to Finlayson, who has 3 to beat. That's a pretty good result.
Really good defensive work there from Heath Shaw. Just assessed the dangerous space. Didn't complete the mark, but had his opponent well covered on the back lead. They've been very good, the back 6 of the Giants today.
Mumford didn't really get an effective touch to it. Haitley got a partial smother going. Tomlinson trying to be strong. Can't bust the tackle of Hunter Clark. And there's no free kick picked out there. It's a time for a ball up. Marshall got front position, only tapped it as far as Tomlinson. Now Heath Shaw can get the bounces going. Normally right up there in that stat. A couple before getting the kick away. Looking for Cameron, and Wilkie able to get it across the boundary line.
No, it was a good exit from Tomlinson. Took the ball from the hit out and then laid it off to Heath Shaw. Let's just have another look there. Just in the air, he actually unleashed it.
Mumford again, rucking from behind, down towards Hopper. Oh, Mumford tackled a man without the ball. Trademark aggression, advantage paid to the Saints. Ross doesn't use the bounce this time, looking for Bruce, one-on-one with Taylor. Managed to bring it to ground level where the Giants had the numbers. It bounced away from Haynes, though. Now there's a chance for the Saints. Ross has to be quick. Got a handball back inside. Busting the first tackle was Gresham. The kick towards Marsh. And the Giants back 6 under pressure again. Well, Taylor, a few fans thought he might have dragged it in, but he gets the benefit.
Well, they're under pressure, but they're performing really well with that pressure. They want to tackle, they want to smother. They've got a lot of boxes ticked right now.
Trying to hack it clear was Hopper. Bruce thought he was tackled without it by Reid. Umpire let that one go. Battle v Himmelberg. Battle goes again. He's got support from Steele, who's spun the way of Nunes. Quickly on the left boot. Haynes, the intercept mark King for the Giants. Couldn't stick it in traffic. He gets it on the outside. A boyhood Saints tragic. So much so that he named his dog after Lenny Hayes, who's now on the coaching staff of the Giants. Nick Haynes. Back towards Taranto. Tumbles one down to a 2-on-1, and St Kilda, well, they thought they'd worked it out 2-on-1, but Cameron was held on to. Free kick to the Giants.
Yeah, good call. Just blocked his path there. Wilkie, bit unlucky, but a good call.
Had hold of the arm, said the umpire. Cameron, a long way from home. Travels about 50 to the pocket. Green Rose coming across his body. Didn't quite find the target. Isaac Cumming, who's yet to kick a goal in his AFL career. $35 points the margin, similar to what we had at quarter time. Scoring has dried up for the Giants after they racked up 50 in that opening term. Just one goal so far in the second quarter, and we're nearly 3/4 of the way through it. Another free kick picked out, and it's going the way of the attacking team here. Mumford can go back and have a shot.
Yeah, he caught a block there, the umpire. We'll have a closer look at this, but their scoring power from stoppages today is back. 5 of their 9 goals from stoppages, and this will be another one if Mummy can slide this through. A very popular member of this team. There'll be some sort of celebration if he kicks this.
He hasn't kicked one yet in his comeback here. Normally deadly from this range, but he only just registers the minor score. Kick in taken quickly by Savage to Billings. Waiting for the cavalry to get out towards centre wing. Bruce nudged under it by Taylor. Out the back is Parker again. He's got some options, but he kicked it to the wrong side, and Heath Shaw can take the mark.
It's been one of the tales of the quarter, Kingy. This kick to about the 40 or the 35 in their forward 50, being intercepted by the Giants players who are just doing it really well.
Haynes went underground to Taranto, has help from Cornelio. On the outside, Tomlinson, penetrating kick. And a good rise. He was going to get a free kick anyway. Took the mark, did Isaac Cumming.
It's 5 intercept possessions to 0 in the Saints forward 50.
Taranto quickly by hands. Cornelio, oh, beautiful kick. That was so quick the way he got it on the boot, and he knew where his teammate was.
It's too good a play to say it's luck. Yeah, he must have known he was there yet. You can see the little look forward. And when you can kick the ball like the Giants, the scoreboard's going to flow.
So Hopper coming up for his 11th disposal from just inside 50. Across the face again. So still just the one major in the second term.
And I think 9 marks inside the forward 50 to the Giants and only 3 to the Saints tells the story, Jared, of what you're trying to paint a moment ago. Yep. Just can't find a forward target to light up the Saints, whereas everyone looks likely in the Giants forward 50.
Haynes does take another intercept mark. Fabulous player. Former skimboarding champ. This time it's going the way of St Kilda. Of battle. He made his AFL debut as a schoolboy a few years back now. Finds Patton. A couple of bounces. Make it 3. Still going Patton. Usually a good user. Asked a bit too much of Steele though. Has to get it again at ground level. Now Sinclair. And on the outside there's plenty of space to explore for Wilkie. More bounces here at Monica. And Marsh takes the chest mark and go back and have a shot from about 50.
Well, it was better use coming in because Haynes was free behind the ball and he was guarding the central corridor of the inside 50 kick. So to go fractionally wide, a good lead in the end. Back into the traffic, but a perfect pass. They need this.
Yeah, one of the great stories this week. John O'Marsh returning to the AFL for his first game in 979 days. The former Pie from 50, bending back but not quite in time, so still goalless in his AFL career. Will it come today in his 16th game?
Both clubs are a team player down at the moment, boys. You've got Adam Kennedy for the Giants getting a concussion test downstairs. Jimmy Webster for the Saints is in the rooms. He was down there in the first quarter as well. He hurt his hand, was cleared to go back on the ground, but he's clearly having issues with it because the doc's down with him now.
Yeah, that was the contact with Cameron as Billings takes a ride on Haynes.
And that's what they need more of. Billings and Gresham have both had quiet first halves. In particular, Gresham.
Well, who wants it? The mark is taken. And a set shot coming up in the corridor. This is very gettable for Marsh.
Well, it was a good ball one, wasn't it? Contested mark, and then he kicks it to a dangerous spot. And this time, the Saints get somebody on the end of it. They're going to have to find a way to get Jay Gresham into this match. Just 5 possessions to date. He's being guarded, and as you become a better player, that's what you need to deal with.
Opportunity knocks for Jono Marsh, who has his first goal ever in the AFL. On debut for the Saints today, the former Collingwood player gets it done in his 16th AFL game. And what a day for him, presented with his jumper by Nick Del Santo a little earlier.
Yeah, great day. Great moment for that young man. Had a fight on his hands, lost to the game for a couple of years. The Saints needed an emotional lift today, and he was the man to give them that. Yeah, pretty simple kick in the end, but it's the emotion that it brings with it. It's the energy. The whole field rushes to him. All 18 get to him, pat him on the back, say, beautiful, well done, let's go, let's get another one. It's a big margin, 30 points, but you've just got to put one foot in front of the other. Don't worry about the scoreboard. Just keep fronting up and things can turn.
He is providing that presence up forward that Alan Richardson would have wanted after throwing him into that role at VFL level in recent weeks. One to chase for Daniels. Bounced it in not a lot of favours, but he paddled it towards Cameron, who tried to work it back towards Hately, who applies the tackle instead. And the P and the whistle's gone. The umpire went searching for it, couldn't find the P. Replacement whistle required at half-time as Mumford slapped it only as far as Gresham, who just let it go. Able to get the kick away second time around. Taylor, brilliantly done. Found Reid, now Shaw. With the outside of the boot, a little backtracking bravely again. Body on the line from Rowan Marshall. Himmelberg went through him, and that's the first 50-metre penalty of the day. And Mumford's in the road here. That's a 100-metre penalty. Well, we saw it a lot in the JLT. Now we see it in the AFL as Mumford failed to read the memo. And Rowan Marshall, with the aid of this 100-metre penalty, is going to make it back-to-back goals for St Kilda. The second 50 looks like it might have been a bit short. Marshall was expecting to be kicking from the goal square just about.
You've got to be more than 2 metres. That's not right. I'll tell you. We don't come out of the club, so if that's not told to you, that's not told, but you have to be more than 2 metres.
There's confirmation that he missed the memo. Shane Mumford. He was nowhere near 2 metres away. So Marshall pays it off. A 100-metre penalty turns into another major, and it's 4 goals the difference. St Kilda narrowing the margin. That's what he got the first 54. Himmelberg was trying to back out of it, but the contact was inevitable. And here's Mumford trying to head him off at the pass, but you've got to stay in front of him or get outside of that 2-metre kind of window. After that first term, we thought it might be tough for St Kilda, but they're back in it. Final minute of the second term, and St Kilda have found 2 late ones here. And they get one more and really tighten things up. Bounce favoured Marshall. Mumford came over the top. Marshall again at ground level. Goes at it for a 3rd time. Got to get it out. St Kilda do that. Oh, strong tackle by Himmelberg, but he held on too long. It's a free kick to Patton. And they keep it up tempo here. Mumford nearly giving away another 50 there that the St Kilda fans thought they might get. Tomlinson, the spare down back, able to take the mark. A relieving one for the GWS Giants as he finds Haynes. And the clock continues to tick. Giants will be happy if there's no further score in this second term after being outscored by St Kilda. Oh, big rise, and he completes the mark. Well, Cumming was up there so early and still dragged it down for the mark of the day so far. We've got to credit the character of St Kilda. Both these teams 4-2 heading into today. Important victory, whoever can get it. And St Kilda have tightened things up on the scoreboard to make it 4 majors the difference at half-time. Look at this leap from Isaac Cumming on centre wing. Fantastic stuff over the top of Hunter Clark, who had a little glance over his shoulder to see who that high flyer was. Playing just his 3rd game in the AFL, Isaac Cumming. And that'll be on his highlight reel. Well, a big 100-metre penalty there for St Kilda. Came in very handy indeed. Seb Ross just taking the opportunity for another team talk. Well, the Giants were on fire early. Jeremy Cameron was kicking the goals, and he's with Nerily.
Thank you very much, Speedy. Well, Jeremy, it was a wonderful opening quarter. What went wrong in the second quarter?
I think we just did a few little silly things that let them get back in the game. So we had a fair bit of the momentum early in the second quarter, but we gave it back to them and let them get inside 50 and keep it in there. So we've got a little bit to improve on, but it's been a good half.
You were crunched early. How is that shoulder going? Because Leon said you were pretty sore.
Yeah, it's pretty sore, but I think I'll be able to get on with the game. So, yeah, I'll be fine. I'll probably get him to check out and take a few pads and I'll be right.
Thank you.
Yes, he'll battle on in the second half. He's got 3 majors to his name already, but St Kilda breathed real life into the contest in that second term. Stay with us. Plenty more to come right up.
So, good news for the Saints, bad news for the Giants.
And away we go. 3rd term about to get underway. Marsh, one of those goal kickers in the second quarter as St Kilda got right back into it. Still a 24-point margin to overcome as Mumford finds Cornelio, and Cameron on the lead sticks it.
That's pure footy. That is straight from the centre, straight down the throat of Cameron. The question is, how is his shoulder? And it doesn't look too bad, but he was shelling peas in practice from here, kicking these goals.
Looked like Welke gave him a little fitness test there, Kingy.
He can actually kick this and clear the fence behind the goals. He was doing that regularly in the pre-game.
He wasn't smashing it either. He was just kicking it at about 3/4.
At least 3 goals straight so far in this game. He's averaging 4 per game so far in 2019. He's going to give it a ride. Trying to bend it back the other way. It's through for a minor score. His first blemish.
Well, they've got to get their hands on the ball, the Saints, and maintain control. Numbers-wise, 195 possessions to 133 possessions to St Kilda. Now, sometimes it doesn't tell the full story, but at the moment, the keepings off game has been all one way.
So Savage just tries to weight it to the advantage of Membry. He's got him. No easy task to find a teammate when Haynes is sweating on them. It's methodical, slow stuff from St Kilda. Another chip kick to Sinclair this time. Part of the game plan from Richo at half-time, but the kick is poor here. Williams got a fist in. Haynes around the corner, and that was touched off the boot. Not out of bounds on the full. It's a boundary throw-in.
Taking it wide. It's been the story of their season. Slow and wide. Refused to turn the ball over in a dangerous position and cough up easy scores. A drastic change from 2018.
You see that 2-on-1 at the bottom of the screen there, which leaves St Kilda with a spare, but
fantastic tap work from Mumford. Cornelio showed great team endeavour to try and find Cumming. Took a spectacular mark almost on the stroke of half-time, did Cumming, but he couldn't complete that one. Cornelio will feel like he wasted one there. He had plenty of space inside forward 50. Mumford v Marshall again. Clearance from St Kilda. Bounces the way of Parker. The sun may have been an issue there. He got a little clip around the ear, did he? Or in the eye?
Yeah, in the eye. You're always well enough to take your kick, Speedy. And go off after that.
Copped a stray finger from Haynes. Did Matty Parker. Oh, that's a shank. Works its way to a one-on-one for Kent to try and beat Reed. Hopper came to lend a hand. and goes back to Reid, who tried to take them all on. He went right through the tackle of McKenzie. Finlayson trying to tidy up. Reid with a third effort, but St Kilda are out of there. And Ross, a trademark early bounce. Kick is pretty handy. Membry in space. Working for him really hard is Marsh, who kicked a team-lifting goal in that second quarter. Tried to keep it in. He's done so. Umpire letting things go. Free kick picked out here for over the shoulder.
That was a great contest between two players, but well done to John O'Marsh. He's got real speed, and you saw there the strength he had.
Played exclusively as a backman with Collingwood. Just chips it. Great lead made by Kent. And he can go back and have a shot, the former D.
He needs to impact the scoreboard. He's only had the 4 disposals so far today, so this is critical. When your opportunity comes, you've got to take it. And this would be a real fillip for the confidence of the Saints.
Joined from Melbourne on a 3-year deal. He's kicked 6 goals, 4 so far this year, bending it back a little too early.
He's in the wars, is Matty Parker. He copped a poke to the eye and then was corky just a few moments later. He's come to the bench for some treatment. Great sportsmanship from Finlayson. The Giant put his arm out just to alert the physios from the St Kilda bench that he was in a bit of strife.
A corky is the reason we're not seeing Lachie Whitfield here this afternoon. Picked that up last week, played on one leg for the Swans, and you don't see too many players back up after that happens. Oh, great hands again by Long to find Nunes. And now Dara Joyce, a bit of holding going on there. Looked like an obvious free kick paid against Bruce.
He was in the perfect spot there, Bruce. Just had to fight through. The kick actually took him out of a dominant position.
Yep.
He just had to fight through it. At worst, bring the ball to ground. You just can't give away a free kick like that when they're fighting so hard for inside 50s, the Saints.
One behind each so far in this third term. Pressure on Haynes, applied by Bruce. Himmelberg does that so often. Creates a contest, trying to bring it to ground level for teammates. Nunes tried to get it to Steele. He did so. And the kick, pressure on that, but he got it under Hopper. It was touched by Hopper, though. That's why the mark wasn't paid. An eagle-eyed spot by the umpire.
Well, it's got to turn for Josh Bruce. If he keeps on presenting, it will turn.
Free kick goes against Marshall. This time the advantage is paid. Lloyd takes that. Himmelberg's one out again, just breaks even against Dara Joyce.
Been a really good ruck battle today. Both had their moments, both had their time. It's a super physical clash, as you'd expect with Mummy involved, but credit to Marshall.
Yeah, because he was exclusively a forward until being asked to play that ruck role, and he's keeping Longer out of the side after Longer got a crack at it last week. Daniels applied the tackle on Wilkie. McKenzie back to battle around the corner. He's found Gresham trying to work his way into the game. Steele is going to go longer. He had some handball options. He goes for Kent instead. He'll track it down on the first bounce. Quickly towards the top of the square. 2-on-2 there for St Kilda. Now the third man comes in for the Giants, and it's a handy man to come into the equation as well. Look at him go. Zach Williams steps around players like he's shelling peas. Now Taranto. Cornelio, little soccer, is going to turn it over. Well, Steele, Akers worked it out eventually and brought that handball back under his control. Now Ross goes long. Well, Bruce was all alone there. The kick was a little too long, and it's through for a minor score.
You've got to provide a better entry than that. Ross has got to be better at just lowering his eyes and hitting that uncontested mark target, who's only 15 to 20 metres in front of him, but then the game stops. It's a set shot at goal. High probability of getting a major. It's blasted away. Poor kick, really.
For sure. Plays on and kicks long. Who wants it? Marshall over the top. Handball back to Akers. Inboard to Marshall. And McKenzie. Well, how far's he run here? Umpire lets it go. Top of the square. Bouncing ball. Giants should be out of there again via Taylor. Buntine had to get it on the boot in a hurry. Kick smothered across his body this time. And it's across the face again from Kent. He's had a couple of chances.
He's got to find the goals, but I like the way they're working hard defensively here. This is a good smother. And Buntine, he's under some pressure at the moment, but I love the way the Giants are getting those extra blokes back down there and outnumbering St Kilda.
And Sinclair with the smother. Now Buntine. Won't be any pressure on this disposal. Just chips it far enough for the mark to be called. Reed just taking his time. Daniels, the little man, in amongst a couple of Saints. Wilkie couldn't quite complete the mark. Another inside 50 coming up for St Kilda. Kept it in front of himself. Membry had support as well, but the Giants had the numbers, and Haynes able to clear once more. St Kilda have the numbers this time out the back. Patton flicked it on the up. There's men over in the middle here. Jack Steele demanding it, gets it, the former Giant. No rush at all from Ross. Out in front of Akers. And there's St Kilda players here who can raffle it. Sinclair again, how's the kick? Well, he worked his way to the front, couldn't complete the chest mark, Bruce. Should be coming back as Marsh goes high. Reading it best off the boot was Membry, couldn't complete the mark either. Now Savage. And look at all the St Kilda players queuing up in the middle. He has to go to them. Held fire on the kick for that fraction too long. Allowed Finlayson to get back. And now the Giants can steady things.
So the ball's hitting the deck inside the forward 50 for St Kilda, and yet they just haven't got the representation there. And at the moment, there's been 6 times the ball's hit the deck, and 5 times the Giants have just taken it away. They've got to get more advantage from those loose and hard balls.
Savage has got to be better than that. He had 3 players clear inside 50, took the extra 3 seconds, which is an eternity at AFL level. I mean, that just shuts the whole space down. He hung a kick, a little loopy kick inside 50, was never going to pay the bills. Had to be quicker.
And his teammates were screaming for it because they knew they were wide open. And he still took that little beat too long. This one won't be coming out. Umpire circling. Tried to let it work its way clear of traffic.
Really good contest here. 22 points. Next goal is so critical with this sort of margin. I feel like the Saints are pushing hard, need to get reward on the scoreboard.
Scoring end in the first half, certainly to the right of screen. The Giants heading that way in this third term. Kicking in danger, picked out against Reed.
Well, this is the first time in any part of the game that St Kilda are getting more ball than the Giants.
Haynes, another intercept mark. He's going to change direction here and find Haley. Lloyd working hard ahead of him. Secondary lead from Lloyd, and he'll get it now. On the bounce, though, under pressure from Battle. Down the line, Himmelberg, well, surely an argument for a free kick there, but he won't get one. So the Giants, 1 man down. Adam Kennedy obscured there, out with a concussion. There's Cornelio, one-handed drop onto the boot towards Green. Wilkie works it out. Webster's back out there with that wrist strapped. Change of direction from Dara Joyce. It'll work out for Savage. Oh, no, it won't. It bounced the way of the Giants. Taylor ran onto it. Daniels applying the tackle, but Akers was strong enough to find his man, and now the Saints are out. Long working hard. Bruce as well, but the kick lets them down a little.
Well, they're dominating this quarter, St Kilda. They just can't quite get an impact on the scoreboard. 10 inside 50s to 3. They've had so much more of the ball. Now's the time to impact on the scoreboard.
Another kick tumbles down into the forward pocket, and we'll get a stoppage down there as well.
I like what Alan Richardson's done here. He's put Gresham to full forward. So that's the ground ball concerns you're talking about. So the big boys just need to ensure that it's not marked by those intercepting defenders and allow Gresham to go to work. This is where they're good, the Saints. Forward 50 stoppages.
And Membry in the ruck inside forward 50 this time for St Kilda. Haynes gets it on the boot. Didn't travel the required journey. Steele, brilliant play. Goes back to Akers. Drops it on the boot. The St Kilda fans love it. They've got another one.
Well, that's the conversion they're looking for, and that just came about because of the constant pressure inside the forward 50. If you have a look here,
Jack Steele. awesome here, Jared. Stepping through traffic, prepared to take the confrontation of two giant defenders. And a quality finish from Akers, who's worked really hard this quarter.
Yeah, I like Akers. There's another level for Akers to go, but it all depends on how hard he works. I think Reid was a little bit lucky not to give away a free kick just prior to that stoppage to Gresham. He was just bowled over, and that's illegal, but that's a good goal.
Game on.
Almost midway through the third term, and that is the first major in this quarter. Leon Cameron trying to sort things out. They're a man down, the Giants, and St Kilda have been steadily working their way back into it. Tomlinson in the ruck now for GWS. Well, the tap, who wants it? Haitley came off the wing, left it behind for Billings. Steele tries to lower the eyes, up they go. A little too aggressive was Shaw over the top. Free kick right in front for Parker.
And that's the threat of this man. An aerial specialist, he set himself. Good spring. It was almost it looked like a 2-footed jump. There you go there, the old basketball 2-foot jump. And Shaw had no other option, really. He probably knew he was going to give away a free kick, but it was either that or give away the mark. And we all know what Heath would prefer. Big kick.
And goals often generate more score, don't they? We go back into the centre, we get the 6-6-6, and suddenly there's another shot at goal coming up immediately. After that long wait for the opening goal of the third term. Parker can't add another, though. The poster, look how upset he is. And Shaw getting stuck in.
Well, that's a major let-off. They just got all the momentum, but until the Giants score, the damage yet to be done.
Williams off the hands of Billings. Daniels let it roll for Hopper. Tomlinson can go over the top. Green, a little bit of space for him to explore. Takes some weight off it. Cameron, he assesses it better than anyone else, taking on the chest, and it's 50.
Yeah, good call from the up. He wasn't entitled to go on with this almost tackle after he'd marked the ball, Cameron. He wanted to get him to ground. He didn't want to allow that left leg to play on. We know how damaging he is. It's been almost 45 minutes since their last goal, the Giants. So they needed this.
Another goal from the back half. That time it was from fullback, coast to coast.
So Jeremy Cameron missed one from just beyond 50. Earlier in this quarter, he plays on and bangs home his fourth goal of the afternoon, and a steadier for the Giants.
Well, it's a 2-goal turnaround. That is a hurtful 2 minutes of play there for the Saints after working so hard for the first 15 or so minutes of the quarter to get a chance to really get back within a couple of goals and just give one and gift one to the opposition.
Yeah, umpire Jacob Mollison, who had to get a replacement whistle going at half-time after blowing the pee out of it in the second quarter, made the adjudication there of the 50-metre penalty.
Got to take your opportunities. I mean, Parker misses that goal, and it's back in the hands of the Giants, and that's where they've been so potent today. You give them the ball, you pay a price. 43 minutes between goals, you just allow them to settle again.
So Bruce wins the ruck duel. Haitley tracked it down. Taranto's handball missed the mark, though, tidied up by Long. Gresham stepped back inboard. Normally a classy user. Goes top of the square, backing back Buntine, and the mark taken by Core.
Since they've been good in the air, Giants.
That was a poor kick. That was a poor entry. He had players streaming into space everywhere. They just need more from Gresham.
Aidan Core, who returned for his first game of footy since round 17 last week. Free kick going the way of Battle here, given away by Lloyd.
Another strong mark as well. Well, free kick technically.
Look at all those players. So he goes long. Up they go again. Good contest. Marsh v Haynes. Now the kick out of there by Buntine will be coming back. Can have a shot if he wants. Shane Savage gives it a ride all the way to the goal square, and the holdout work from Aidan Core allowed Haynes to take it on the chest.
Low percentage. Players out everywhere. They'd be really disappointed with their forward half execution, the Saints.
Finlayson again climbed, didn't stick it according to the umpire. Finlayson thought the whistle might have come. Now Membry quickly. Gresham, can he finish off this time? It's a shocker. Wrong part of the footy. Out in the full.
Trying too hard. Sometimes when you've had a poor first half, you can over-try to get yourself back into it. He just needs to put the clutch in, go back a gear and restart.
They need to chip a little 15-metre pass and just settle the game down. It's out of control in terms of the speed at the moment of their forward half work.
Oh, another spectacular mark taken in Canberra in ideal footy conditions. Bruce it was that time. Can't stick it inside forward 50 as Buntine gets down low. Haynes on the outside for Hately. Scramble down the line. And good spoil by Tomlinson to break even with Savage. We've seen a few of these today, haven't we? This time Bruce taking the hanger on Taranto. Another knee to the head. Taranto crumpled to the turf, but he's okay.
You're vying for the Winnie Abraham Award. Who took the most famous mark here of anyone?
Taranto hacks it clear. No Giants within sight. They ask for deliberate, not going to get it.
Well, they just need the ball out of the Saints forward half at this stage. In the third quarter, it's 18 inside 50s to 4 in favour of the Saints. It's disappointing from a St Kilda point of view. They got 1 goal 4 as a return.
Mumford again with the two-hand work. Hopper tracked it down. Taranto, little grubber down the line. How does the umpire see this one? It is deliberate.
Been good, the umpires today. Umpire appreciation round, Jared. Happy with their work?
Absolutely. I think they've put their best foot forward and their best whistles forward. I mean, blowing the pea out of a whistle, that is a hell of a day.
That's to be appreciated.
Nicholas Brown it was making the adjudication there, and Taranto didn't complain. He knew he'd been done. Good mark taken by Membry.
It's a big change come over this game. The Saints have got their opportunities. You've got to maximise them.
That's the key.
Squeezes it to Ross. Oh. No mark. Williams affecting the spoil. Ross thought he might have stuck it before the spoil came. Daniels, gang tackle.
Don't think there'll be much appreciation for that decision.
Might have gone too early with the appreciation. That's a definite mark. He stopped the ball.
Yep.
Saints fans are almost calling for 50. It was that late.
This time Ross gets the kick away and it's out of bounds on the full again.
Right in the game, as we said, this 21-point margin, next goal becomes so critical. If it blows out to a 5-goal lead, it's really difficult to claw that back in a quarter. If you can get it to 2.5 goals or less before 3/4 time, you're right in the game.
Sinclair this time with the rise and mark. Seen some clunking going on today in Canberra. What can Bruce do this time? Went underneath it a little, and we get another stoppage right on the 50-metre arc. So 3.5 goals the margin. St Kilda narrow it again. They got some late ones in that second term. Mumford nudged under it by Akers in the ruck this time. And now they're out. Tough angle. And he goes for goal again, Jade Gresham.
If he could call the timeout, Alan Richardson, he would. And just settle his troops down. There's better options than what they're blazing away with at the moment.
Hayne, oh, another rise. This time the mark not completed.
How are you reading the Giants at the moment, Kenny? Because they have almost put the handbrake on.
Well, they're under siege, aren't they? I mean, it's pretty much Nick Haynes that's keeping him in this game. 6 intercept possessions for the quarter.
Gresham gets down low, gets it on the outside. Ross set upon, and the free kick against him for dropping the ball under pressure from Hopper. Back to Williams, who had 10 possessions in that opening term. Well, Tomlinson can get it and go to Shaw. He's aware of that. And again, elite kicking from the Giants. And now they find a bit of space. Cameron wants it over the top. Shaw saw him a little late. Cameron still makes it work. Savage backtracked in the nick of time. Inboard to the corridor. Go the Giants. Hopper. Chinese checkers stuff again for Jared. He loves watching this. Hately now Can he find one? Goes deep. Himmelberg, oh, backing back. Look who's popped up again for his second mark in the sequence with real bravery. Jeremy Cameron, take a bow.
Well, he's worked incredibly hard from one mark to the other. That's just a great run.
It's an 80-metre sprint, and that's why you get the returns you get. He knows his team's battling a little. He worked all the way up the ground. He worked to the wing to just get involved, to give his team an option, and then work back to become an inside 50 target.
Biggest bag we've ever seen at this venue is 7. Jeremy Cameron has 5, and there's still a quarter and a bit to go. Trivia time. A St Kilda player has kicked the biggest bag here. Stand by.
Well, here's Jeremy Cameron. Just have a look at this sort of work rate. He kicks it inboard, and then he thinks to himself, I'm just going to start pushing forward. There he goes, just in second gear at the present time. Ball's working for him. He goes off screen. And he just continues to push his way down into a good spot. And all of a sudden, he realises, hello, I'm a chance here. But it took a courageous performance. Back with the flight of the ball. That is a man in really good form.
And a team that's left the door ajar. When the Saints have had 20 inside 50s for the quarter for 1 goal, 4. You'd expect to have 5 to 6 goals, and this man, what a season he's having. Could he get to the 100?
Well, he's going at better than 4 a game now after getting to 5 in this one. Tomlinson, great hands. Williams had to be quick. Daniels in space here if it sits for him. Bounce made him rise and get it on the outside towards the ball. Back inboard to Haitley. The tackle continued. Daniels takes the advantage. Goes to Himmelberg. Across his body, the boy from Canberra. And the Giants go bang, bang. And open up that margin again.
Well, if you don't take your opportunities, you're going to get hurt. And again, just good decision-making. Good execution by hand and foot. That was the contest there. That one right there, just knocked the ball forward. Daniel swooped on it. They've had that advantage on the ground ball most of the afternoon.
They've been too slick, haven't they? I mean, really,
absolutely
in general play and overlap play, the Giants have understood the process to score better than the Saints have. The Saints got a lot of repeat inside 50 entries, but haven't had a forward that's been prepared to bring the ball to ground. That's the gap in the game at the moment.
Daniels with the latest inside 50 after showing great game awareness to capitalise on that advantage. Now back to the trivia quiz, boys. Biggest bag ever at this venue in 48 games of footy came from a Saint. 2001, 7 goals. Who do you reckon? You can play along at home.
Saint. Small Saint?
Late in his career, a big Saint. Played in the 80s, 90s and noughties. 300 gamer.
I think Stewie Lowe is still going.
Buckets, he was still going.
Low.
Kicked 7 here. Well done, Jared. You win the prize. Oh, another chest mark taken by Himmelberg.
Well, in the space of 3 minutes, they put a major separation between themselves and the Saints. And the Saints, all their good work has evaporated. It's going to be interesting to see how this forward line evolves when Patton comes back. We spoke to him before the match. They've got Himmelberg, who's been a key figure for them.
And he's kicked 2 goals in 2 minutes, Harry.
And of course, you've got the eBay specialist in Jeremy Finlayson, who I can't see him moving either, but he is so mobile. He could play that sort of forward flank mobile role. He could even play on a wing for mine. But it's a great problem for Leon Cameron to have.
Himmelberg kicked 4 goals from 6 kicks in round 19 against St Kilda last year, and he's got a couple here after 9 disposals so far. Well, St Kilda were applying plenty of pressure on the scoreboard, just couldn't quite narrow the margin to a couple of goals like maybe they should have, and now it's blown out again with 3 straight from the GWS Giants. Cameron and then a couple from Himmelberg. Billings tripped up there inadvertently by De Boer. Tomlinson's handball found Taranto. Daniels crashes in again against Clark. Great hands. Dara Joyce to find Marshall. And now Kent can go over the top to Steele. Runners in motion. Akers backs back. Over the top came Buntine. The Saints have the numbers. They should get one here. Oh, nearly butchered, but Sinclair does squeeze it home eventually. Boy, oh boy, they made hard work of that. And it's still not confirmed.
Yeah, just going to check if Haynes got a finger on this, which he may well have.
We just want to see if
it's very close.
Irrespective, it was unbelievable work by Dara Joyce.
Yeah.
Under Haynes.
Just under, you'd think he snuck it in.
Yeah, won't be overruling that, and I don't think there was a touch.
He's been everywhere, Haynes. It wouldn't surprise me if he's got a finger on this. He's had an outstanding quarter, and a lot of their successes in this term are off the back of his intercept work, but that was a great scramble at the end there. Terrific goal.
Decision on scoreboard.
Well, on that evidence, I think the goal is about to stand, but we go to the scoreboard to confirm it. Right through the big sticks.
Yes, didn't even think it was umpire's call. They were absolutely confident that no hand was near it. So that gives them just a hint of life and light coming into this last quarter. Gee, another one to be handy, though. As you said, Speedy, nearly butchered, but a good follow-up.
I think, regardless of the result today, St Kilda have to work on their inside 50 execution. When you look at the inside 50s today, they've had 51 St Kilda to GWS 29. So GWS are goaling virtually every second entry, and the Saints are just leaving so many marking targets.
And not supporting it at ground level either.
Yeah.
Hunter Clark kept it in front of himself, but the Giants work it out. Green almost threw it over the top. Daniels, again, the meat in the sandwich. Final couple of minutes before three-quarter time as Cornelio tumbles one down towards Himmelberg. Dara Joyce all over him. Follow-up work from Hately. Finlayson. Important bouncing ball. The Saints won it. Webster. And that'll sit up nicely. And they can play on via Steele. Ross left it behind. Paddle towards Mumford, who crashes in. And another stoppage. The veteran ruckman Mumford against the first-year ruckman in Rowan Marshall, doing the job for St Kilda, but Mumford got body position that time. De Boer flicked it out eventually after being taken to ground. Daniels, more classy work from the little forward, and Green ridden into the ground. No free kick.
Well, he tried to outsmart the umpire then and drag the St Kilda tackler to ground and get a push in the back. Is that prior opportunity? That's a debate we'll have later, but gee whiz, unlucky there not to be rewarded the tackler.
I think maybe the umpire had that debate as we were watching. Buntine taken high, elected to take the advantage. Himmelberg working back, and it's through for a minor score. Kicked a couple of goals this year, Buntine, often playing as a lockdown forward. Jack Steele, first ever Giants academy player from Canberra, picked up in the draft, and then he moved on to St Kilda. Tomlinson went to the body of Akers first, hoping the numbers might work out for his team. And now we get the stoppage.
You mentioned the battle in the ruck, King. It's a really interesting looking at the numbers. Mummy's slaughtering this contest by way of hitouts to advantage. It's 11-0, but at ground level, Marshall's had 6 clearances himself, and so too has Mummy. So it's, I mean, they're both having an impact, but Mummy's bigger body strength is allowing him to get more effective hitouts.
And it's probably more noticeable at centre bounces. I mean, 4 goals to the Giants today from centre bounces is a big total when you only average just over 2.
Cornelio, oh, Green, little one hand put down onto the boot. Now he goes up, Toby Green. Fantastic footy, high in his favour. He also went high on Steele, trying to get the fend-off going.
Little face massage at the end.
And he's been working on the way he approaches it. Last year, I reckon he would have gone studs up there, but he kept the studs down and still won it cleanly.
At what point does a massage become a problem for you?
Off hands again. Taranto, the tough tackling Taranto. Gives one away, though. Up over the shoulder, says the umpire. Three-quarter time siren sounds. Well, St Kilda, they closed the margin for a little while there in the third term, but then the Giants, with their class up forward, kicked away again, and they lead by 34 points heading into the final term. Stay with us.
Score. So they've been their own worst enemies getting the ball in, but still a lot to like about how they're playing.
A lot of work to do for St Kilda to try and work their way back into the contest. We saw them do it last year against the Suns from a similar margin at three-quarter time down. Tough ask against the Giants, but here's a free kick going Marshall's way. He's got his fair share today, given away by Mumford. Kick wasn't great, but Bruce still had time to go long. And Membry with the late lead, elected to spoil it. Look at the hands from Gresham. Looks for a teammate this time. Up he goes, Parker, misjudged it. And Williams takes it away. McKenzie came around the blind side. He goes back to Patton, trying to weave his way through traffic. Found Billings. Helped on by Sinclair. That was clever. Ross got a shout on the outside from Savage. So all of the players almost in this half of the ground right now, as the Giants get a few back. Another climb. Top of the square. And Reed can settle things and just go long. Good penetration in that kick. Tumbling ball down towards Wilkie. Had to be quick. And the tackle held on a little long on Wilkie. Advantage paid for Savage to go to Bruce again. Lowers the eyes this time and finds his man. Kent plays on quickly to Membry. Getting back with the flight was Taylor. Spoiled it down for Haynes to clear once more. Bruce was staring down the barrel of his third touch already in this final term, but then along came Isaac Cumming.
Cause down in the defensive 50 down there. Not sure whether he got eyeballs on that narrowly, but he flew for the mark. It looks like an ankle injury. He lands here. You can see him land awkwardly and just roll across the boot of Nick Haynes.
Yeah, he went down straight away and he's in a lot of pain. His teammate Nick Haynes just put his hand up to try and get some attention. The ball came back in again. He's needing some attention by both trainers to get off the ground. Immediately grabbed at that right knee or right ankle, so we'll have to keep an eye on it. But he's a tough one, Aiden Core, and he grabbed at it straight away and stayed down. So we'll watch him as he gets some treatment on the bench.
Yeah, such a frustrating time on the sidelines, dealing with osteitis pubis at the back end of last year and into this pre-season. Finally worked his way back into the lineup. Doesn't want to miss time with a syndesmosis. Hopefully not a major concern, but he's off right now, and the Giants already down a man with Kennedy out of the equation. And now out the back. Oh, from a tight angle. It's back off the goal umpire. It's through for a goal, and Taranto's got it.
Well, that's just brilliant work from a couple of blokes we focused on earlier in the day. Hopper and then Taranto at ground level. This is a really clever inside move. And if you want to look at clever, just have a look at how cleanly Taranto gathers his ball and slides it through the goal and gives us a little bit of a celebration as well.
What are we calling that one, Jared?
Horns up.
Horns up.
They're working on a few celebrations, the Giants. Cornelio went with the Paulo Dybala Juventus celebration a few weeks back, and Tim Taranto's got that basketball background. Maybe it's something he's picked up from the college basketball ranks. That question will be answered during the week, King.
Okay. I thought you might have covered that sport, whatever it was.
There's a big knock. You don't often see the big knock forward.
Patton tracked it down, though. And now Cornelio trying to paddle it past McKenzie. Follow-up work, his leg there, Toby Green.
It's a great swoop on the ball, though.
He's hungry for some scoreboard involvement, Toby Green, right now.
Beautiful. Weighted to perfection. Free kick. It's 50 metres against McKenzie, and the Giants go to McKenzie. Didn't like that treatment dished out. It's going to be a straightforward goal coming up for Lloyd.
The issue was that the opening was there again, and this took us back to the first quarter where it was basically witches' hats. And whilst the game is essentially gone for St Kilda, you know, you can drop off your standards. They be dirty on that, just allowing that simple kick to find the hands.
Lloyd able to recover and take the straightforward shot. And the Giants really surging clear now, closing in on the ton again.
Good accuracy, Kingy. 15-6. They're getting the ball in good positions.
They are. And whenever Toby Green's got the ball, you know he's so clever, particularly with those around the corner kicks or the short kick. I mean, that's just way too open, as you said. Tried to make a statement at the end, but the horse had bolted. Such a clever player, Toby Green. Just creates scores, but you can't allow those luxuries from a St Kilda point of view.
McKenzie made Lloyd earn that mark and cost himself a 50-metre penalty. 46-point margin. The Giants kicking clear after real pressure was applied in the previous term.
Another good hit out to advantage. Should have had the clearance, but a fumble. They'll kill you every time.
Oh, Ross just threw that out, didn't you? No, must have got a handball to it. Now Savage, time to take a bounce. Haynes looking for another intercept kind of possession. Brought it to ground level for Buntine to attack.
And that's once again the issue. We've spoken about their inside 50 domination for most of the game, but it's not supported at ground level. There's the
Throw.
Yeah, I don't think there was much fist on that one.
A flick out from Seb Ross. Free kick picked out. St Kilda set shot right in front for Marshall.
And if you look at the loose balls that are in that forward 50, or ground balls as they're called, 23-8. So they are creating some contests. They're bringing the ball to ground, but they're just not winning enough of it.
I think their biggest issue is they've had 55 inside 50s for 6 marks. And often the forwards are backleading when they should be coming at the kicker. It's in disarray, which is quite correctable over the next few weeks for the Saints.
The Giants have had at the same time 28 in the same area. 28 marks.
Kicked his previous goal courtesy of a 100-metre penalty. That was well assessed by Rowan Marshall, bringing it back on the breeze.
Well, there's no doubt all Saints supporters would know that they've got themselves a terrific young talent here in Rowan Marshall. He's been up against the big body of the big mummy, and yet he's battled hard. He's won his own ball at ground level. He's been given a bit of a lesson in hit-outs to advantage, simply because mummy can just hold him off with one hand and clean it up the other. But he dragged himself a free kick here. Interesting free kick. He certainly pushed his head forward. Might have been a shade lucky.
He's been dubbed the prospect for a long time around the St Kilda traps. And now he's a real talent, confirming that potential. 201 centimetres of him. He's got the edge on Mumford in the height stakes, but Mumford came over the top of him there and applied a legal tackle that time. De Boer, how brilliant was that? Spun his way through traffic. That kick only as far as Nunes, though. Another inside 50. Gresham reading it well in flight.
You're right about De Boer. He's been an unbelievably successful recruiting exercise. He can lock down on A-grade midfielders. He won the ball beautifully. A lot of guys would have slid in, given away a free kick there. He kept his feet and won the ball.
And already signed another contract extension this year, the former Docker. So Gresham opening up the angle. And it's another missed kick, but it's worked out beautifully for Kent.
Probably their best kick inside 50 for the day, that one. And it's unpredictable. It was a terrible kick, but at least Kent's in the game. He's concentrating, he's watching what's happening. He's positioned in a pretty good position to either crumb. Sometimes you just need a little bit of luck. Had a quiet day.
He had a couple of chances in that third quarter when it was game on, and this time he puts it right over the goal umpire's hat and onto the roof for his first goal of the afternoon.
Yeah, he's not a high possession winner. He's about 12 possessions a game, and he's up around the 10, but his impact is always going to be judged by goals and probably internally by pressure. And we haven't got the pressure reading here for individuals, so we can't help you out with that, but their coach certainly would have. So it's a multifaceted role, but if you kick 2 or 3 a day, it's amazing how you always end up in the side.
Maybe a little souvenir after that ball wound up on the roof. If you time your run right, pick up a free Sharon.
Well, Josh Bruce was telling us he was a resident Canberrian for a long time. He used to sit behind there, and he's still got a number of footballs, so he's been able to do it. Unfortunately, he hasn't been able to kick a few back for the kids of today.
To be truthful, he was concerned the police might recognise him.
Taylor got back to his feet. The St Kilda had the numbers though. Breaks the way of Parker. Hately all over him. Ball breaks loose and it bounces the way of Cornelio, who drops it over the top for Daniels.
GWS officially 2 players down on the bench. Aidan Core getting ice put onto that right ankle as we speak, and Kennedy down out of this match with concussion.
Gee, they nearly lost another one there. Hopper was coming against the grain and McKenzie put a solid body on him. Hopper's back up, but he must have felt that one. As Ross breaks through, 1 tackle, flicked it out again. Rowan Marshall able to get the kick further afield. Through the back went Kent.
That was another throw.
Another very, very creative handball. Let's have another look.
Quick draw McGraw.
He just needs a little bit of awareness there, Jacob Hopper. I mean, he's a very good player, but his peripheral vision should have told him that there was a body there he needed to protect himself from.
Well, Kent gives it some height. Holding going on there, no whistle. He was hoping for the free kick, Josh Bruce, to give those kids behind the goal a shot at a Sharon. Thought he might have been entitled to one there.
Unlucky, in the right spot.
Now he's in the ruck. Tap towards Lloyd, a little fumble. Broke the way of Williams, who's gotten his fair share today. Up to 22 disposals now. Jack Steele leading all comers, the former Giant, with 24.
Now he's right under some pressure here. But the rule says the ball needs to be propelled off the hand with the fist. That seems to be propelled by the supporting hand, but it's paid and no one seems to challenge it at AFL House.
Because they like the ball coming out, and that's what happened. Taranto kicks to a 2-on-1, but the one was Cameron.
He's clean.
Great form, isn't he?
Oh, such confidence coming at the ball, outmarking his opponents at will. He wants another couple of goals.
And he match buckets low and get to 7 at this venue. It's been a stack of 6-goal hauls here. Only the 1-7 from Stuart Lowe. 2001, late in his 300-plus game career. Camped underneath it a long time. Battle must have known there were bodies coming his way, but he stood under it bravely. One of Leon Cameron's goals heading into this season was the boost. They're scoring by a couple of goals, and they're just about there. Going to go a long way past the 100 today, potentially. Trying to average 98 to be 2 goals clear of what they managed last year. Averaging about 95 right now. So Hately playing in the city of his birth. Goes into the forward pocket. It's another big climb, and the mark taken by McKenzie.
Well, there's been plenty of aerial stuff today, which is good to see.
He'd love to bottle these conditions. Webster couldn't find his man.
This is the 5th biggest winning margin, 34 points at the moment, by a team that's had 20 fewer inside 50s than their opponent. So it's about method, it's about system and cohesion. The Saints haven't had it for large parts of the day, whereas the Giants have pretty much had it all day.
Whilst we're focusing on numbers, it's a darn good crowd as well. We haven't got the official numbers, but this is one of the best crowds I've seen in Canberra.
It's a great day to come out and watch the Giants play some razzle-dazzle footy against the Saints. There's a few St Kilda fans in the house as well. And plenty of cafes and bars to get a bit of activity going after the footy as well around this part of Canberra.
they've performed in a different way today. They've been able to show different things throughout the course of the season. Really brutal contest last week against the Swans, and today it's been about skill execution.
So Buntine looking for Cameron. Stayed grounded. Mumford went up. Free kick, Mark paid to Mackenzie.
I think what Leon Cameron will be pleased with is, though, they were challenged and they worked their way through the pressure that St Kilda applied in the third quarter. And they just kept hanging in, didn't concede too many goals, which was part St Kilda's fault with their inaccuracy with their kicking, but also part to do with the method that St Kilda, that the Giants had. And then they just hung in there long enough and basically smacked them in the last 10 minutes of that quarter.
Mumford nearly gave away another 100-metre penalty there. He just got out of the way in time after Mackenzie got the 50.
He's been out of the game. He's just adjusting to the rules. And his comeback's been superb. Well, I know we're just judging his performance, but consider where he's been, Jared. And, you know, we've watched that ruck battle all day, and the Saints would be thrilled with Marshall, but so too would Leon Cameron with Mummy's work, particularly giving those prime on-ballers first look.
There'll be a lot of big blokes who'll be thinking about a bit of boxing cross-training after that work for Mumford. An absolute treat to get him back to AFL level after bowing out with significant injury concerns.
I talked to him after last week's game, and he said his body is pain-free for the first time in a long time. He feels fresh.
Beaten in the ruck that time by Akers, who's got a good spring about him. All being forced back by the Saints. The Giants work it the other way. It eludes Mumford. Himmelberg first to it. And the kick doesn't get over the top of Battle. Should be going back for another inside 50 potentially for the Saints. Turned over again though. Hard work. Plenty of bodies around this footy right now. Mackenzie crashes through. Here comes Billings. Time to steady. Didn't hit it as well as he would have liked. And the Giants able to affect the spoil through Tomlinson. Just haven't hit the Sherrin well. Billings and Gresham on multiple occasions today.
Well, it's been a pretty quiet day for Billings in many ways, just 13 possessions. Hasn't really had a major impact on the game.
There's a hit out to advantage for Gresham to hunt down. Left it behind for Williams to get another kick away. And he found Finlayson.
Beautiful kick, both sides of the body.
He's up to 24 now. Zach Williams, joint leading possession winner so far. Haitley picks up another one, goes to Reed. Haitley's had a good game as well. 20 disposals for him after 22 on debut against the Dockers.
So in the next couple of weeks, you'll see Kelly come back into this lineup. Whitfield, Delidio a few weeks away. Patton another 5 or 6 weeks after that. Things can start to build with just the damage.
Sinclair, he finds his man, Kent again.
That's why there's got good pressure at the selection. I mean, there's obviously a couple of 18-year-olds getting games, and they're the ones going to be most likely to miss out. But that forward line, Patton can put a few games together. He does. He is going to give them a number of headaches.
Yeah, Perryman's another one who was going along beautifully before he went out.
Yep.
And Jai Caldwell, their top pick, he played in the NEAFL in Canberra last night, went all right. Pick 5 in last year's draft. So Kent has already kicked one in this final term. Trying to make it 2. Another minor score.
Caldwell, they backed off a little bit for 6 to 8 weeks just because they didn't want him to run aground mid-year. So they've taken a cautious approach with him because he's such a competitor, such a bull. We'll see him in the back half of the year.
And Phil Davis actually declared Zach Langdon will be back this week for this game on his podcast that he does for the GWS Giants. He just thinks he's that good a player that when he's right to go, he'll be straight back in for someone.
Phil, of course. I forgot to mention.
Yeah.
Pretty important player at centre-half back.
Unfortunately, Callan Ward won't return in 2019, rehabbing after doing his ACL against the Cats so early in that game, and they went on to win in Geelong. And they beat Richmond this year. That's why many believe it could finally be the Giants here. Plenty of work to do, of course. Improving to 5-2 with this victory. Brilliant ruck work again to Taranto. Cameron, tough angle here as he has a shot at 6.
He loves this position. Jared and I watched him have 30 shots at goal in the pre-match, and he hit every one of these snaps absolutely pure.
Yep.
And they weren't just going for goals, they were going right over the absolute middle of the goals.
And he gave it too much.
Yeah. A different story late in the last quarter, I suppose, but such a threat.
There's got a bit of padding on that AC joint. He may have got a jab in that at half-time to allow him to get through the match.
Oh, risky kick. Webster there. Went through, and Finlayson came the other way. Webster in the wars again, but St Kilda are out. Wilkie able to find his man.
Yeah, that was troublesome the way that Webster went for that ball. You just got to turn your body, get your neck out of there.
Savage with dash. Tomlinson, brilliant spoil. Marsh didn't expect that. He was trying to take it on the chest. Tomlinson came around and got a fisting.
That's unlucky.
He's bewildered.
Well, Hopper says thanks very much. Takes the free kick.
So the beauty of this season is that 3 or 4 clubs have put their hands up after the first month or so of feeling each other out to suggest that this grand final race, premiership race, is very, very open indeed.
Hopper once more.
I think at this stage of the year we're just judging teams at their best. Who's best is separating from the pack, and we saw Collingwood perform last night.
Yep.
Geelong have been there all season.
But I think clubs are actually still finding their best, Essendon being the most notable. And their performance on Anzac Day tells you that if they keep rapidly improving, they're in the mix. The Giants have got 2 fantastic ball users out of the side. They got their captain out. Both captains are out of the side. One won't be returning, as we know. Their best is yet to be, I think, even seen.
They get a taste of the G next week against the Hawks. Game to look forward to. GWS against Hawthorn, who just lost to Melbourne by 5 points in a cliffhanger in the other game that started at the same time as this one. Interesting decision against Williams. He wasn't too happy with it a moment ago. He took 1 bounce, and the umpire said he didn't take the second one quickly enough. Oh, big hanger from Himmelberg in front of his Canberra locals.
I've seen some marks today, some big hangers.
Is this the best of the lot? It's a beauty. Controlled it well. Here's Cameron, 1 out. Well, he was 1 out. Here comes the support. Gets after it at ground level again. Keeping the pressure on, but St Kilda work their way out of it. Oh, that's going to be a turnover to Cornelio, who couldn't link with Cameron, who's desperate for that 6th. Well, they all left it. And the Giants have it. Does Cameron get the free kick? No whistle for that one. 2 umpires had a pretty good view of it.
Yeah. And I think that's probably the one that's been there as opposed to the others throughout the course of the day. But great work right there from Cameron.
Mumford slaps it down. Lloyd, quick hands to Ranso. Another touch from him. He's closing in on 30 for the 2nd week in a row. Clever little tap, Finlayson. Cornelio back to Cameron. Can he work the angle? He's going for goal all the way through. A bag of 6 for Jezza.
He worked hard for that one, went around one. Looked like he might have thought about getting around the other. Ended up with a top spinner going through. And now he's in pursuit of the 7.
He's working like a forward who knows there's a bag on offer. He's doing everything to keep the ball in the area. Don't bother leading when he gets it. It's only going for one spot. And have you seen anyone so proficient at kicking across the body like he can? He gets great distance with amazing accuracy.
You just thought a touch off the boot was so likely there, but he managed to squeeze it through and find the target.
He's spent. He's not coming off. He knows there's a couple more up for grabs.
6 goals won for the Spearhead. Up to 30 for the season. Round 7 footy today. Bit of blood spotted.
Not exactly flowing blood.
Send him straight on.
Yeah.
He's had a decent day, hasn't he?
He's coming straight on.
Jack Steele, 24 touches. Former Giant, and there's talk amongst the St Kilda coaching staff. They don't want him to be a tagger all the time. They think he's that good a player. They just want to let him free and get his own footy. As Marshall won it down for Ross, got it on the boot. Cumming leading the race. It bounced over his head for Parker to tidy up. And a good kick to Kent again in the pocket.
That's the one. That's the little kick that they've missed all day. They've had shots on the run. They've just blazed away. They've kicked to the top of the goal square, really with no favour to their forwards. That little 15-metre pass is all they need to work on.
That was Nunes setting the example that time. And he's had a few siders from this kind of range. Hasn't been too effective down the years, but that time he strikes it perfectly, and he's got 2 goals, Dean Kent.
Well, he kicked that perfectly, kept everything in line, kept the body going through the ball, but this was just a smart bit of play by our man Parker again. Interesting handball, doesn't want to use the left, goes to the right. But set it up nicely. Good passage of play by the Saints.
8 goals for the season now for Kent. Fair share of goal assists as well. A former Melbourne player.
And have a look at that. 61 inside 50s for a 10-goal return.
Interesting setup here at this centre bounce. The Saints have got all 4 players at the bounce behind the ball.
And the ball.
I've seen that for a long, long time, Kingy. Well, everybody in the defensive 50, in the defensive part of the ground.
And surge.
Yep, there goes the surge. Breaks the way of the wingman, Billings. Oh, Gresham was being ragdolled, and he threw it away.
Jeremy Cameron may finish on 6 goals, boys. He's come to the bench. A warm applause from the Canberra crowd as he did.
Yep. And the glad wrap going around him. Daniels to De Boer. Deserves a goal, and he's got it. Good afternoon from Matt De Boer. Workman-like stuff.
There's just been a success story through and through, Matt De Boer. He was part of the rebuild at Fremantle. They knew that he could keep playing, but they decided they had to move some senior players on to give some kids some opportunities, and that's now bearing fruit. But it's been a win-win for everybody because he has been a sensational player for his new club.
And he's as big a win off the field as he is on. Seriously good person, a great leader, great with the youngsters, teaching them what AFL football lifestyle looks like 24/7.
That's 10 different goal kickers. Cameron's got 6, and 9 other players, teammates of his, have hit the scoreboard. As Ross gets another clearance. Kick favouring Kent, who pulls it back into the corridor. Up they go again. Buntine couldn't bring it down. Bruce Strong able to get a handball on the outside. Tackle held on too long from Reid, and Bruce can finally go back and have a shot.
Here's a chance.
Here's the one. He's got his mate's children sitting at the back, waiting to replicate what he did for year after year.
He's actually sizing up how he can get this to clear the roof. Has he got the distance in him?
I think it might be tough.
He's worked hard, Bruce.
15 gone, Josh.
Only had 5 disposals all day, though. Coming up for his first shot at goal. Another who was drafted by the Giants before winding up at St Kilda. And he just measures the kick, and it's through for a behind.
I know he's had the half a dozen possessions, but I'm not sure it's all his fault. leave it at that, and there's a lot of system goes into how forwards actually get some return, so that'll be the talk during the week from the Saints, got no doubt.
Yeah, his body will certainly feel it. Here he is again, getting his hands on it. Coughs it up to Williams this time. He just got a handball away. Oh, Reid, clever, spins his way through. And drops it inside the boundary line as well.
It's been good today, Reid. One of the best games I've seen him play.
He's kicked a goal. He's had 23 touches.
91% kicking efficiency or disposal efficiency. It's been a good day for him.
Now to play again via Marshall.
Back.
38-point margin in favour of the Giants. Final 2 minutes of the game played out as the Lights try to take over here in Canberra. Taranto, another touch from him, back to Williams. They're leading the way in this game in terms of possessions, those two. Aggressive change of direction. Well, Membry left it behind. Here is that man again, eyeing up his second goal, but a long way off target. It's out in the full, in fact. Hit the base of the post, and the boundary umpire with a confident call as the other two wondered what had happened.
Take control.
Sure. Oh, he took it away from Buntine. You can see the funny side. They're still joking about it. That'll get a little run in the team review, perhaps, for a light-hearted moment. Will the Giants, before they get ready for that Hawthorn game next week. Haynes, another intercept mark ahead of Bruce.
He's been outstanding. Yeah, Haynes. He's virtually controlled that back line. That's his 5th intercept mark for the day. He's won the ball back 12 times. And
along with Williams as well. It's an amazing double.
Yeah, and I look at St Kilda's next month, and that's a pretty tough month upcoming. West Coast at Marvel, Collingwood at the MCG in the next fortnight. But playing like this, they are a threat. I know the scoreboard will read poorly, but a couple of alterations during the week, and they're dangerous again.
And that's one of them, just that wheel and kick it long. You got to wheel and sometimes back yourself in, but you can't be outnumbered 4-1.
Too savage in the wars. He copped it at the other end, and he just copped a stray boot there from Williams, who checks on his welfare. Williams has got a little arm concern as well, so in the final minutes, a couple of niggles potentially picked up there. He's had 30 touches today to lead all comers, Zach Williams.
He's had a big day.
They missed him all of last year until the finals.
Big couple of weeks. Fantastic last week against the Sydney Swans. 30-plus disposals.
Final seconds ticking away. Still time for the Giants to add one more. Daniels does the team thing. Green one out. V. Wilkie, who gives away the free kick. And Toby Green can put the cherry on top.
Dangerous player when they push him into the square alone.
He wanted a goal.
He did. He can jump on your head. He can beat you on the ground. He can out-wrestle you, as you just saw.
He's wanted this for 20 minutes. Working hard, he has, to hit the scoreboard.
He said to Jeremy Cameron, off you get. Get in cotton wool, I'll take the goal square.
My turn.
So after the siren, Toby Green eyeing up his second goal of the afternoon. And the Giants just too good for the Saints here. They improved to 5-2 this season and look every bit the contender in 2019.
There's a big sound from Canberra town. It's the sound of the mighty Giants.
Yeah, I think we're going to hear more of that sound of the mighty Giants right throughout this season. They got badly beaten by the Eagles, which set them back in round 2, but they've come back and they've gathered their forces, and they'll get stronger, Kingy. They are a threat in 2019.
They certainly are. 6 goals from centre bounces. That first quarter, 50 points was just awesome. Look out.
Yeah, Jeremy Cameron with a bag of 6 as the Giants win by 44 in Canberra.